everyone, I'm Bukni Salmin and my last student number is 004. So in this video, we would like to tell you about syntax of chapter 5. The first one is there are three such as, and the second one is the constituent structures of sentence. There are two such as, and I will explain about syntax. Syntax is a level of grammar that specifically refers to the arrangement of words and morphemes in the constructions of structures such as phrases, clauses, and sentences. And the next video will be explained by my friends.
Hello everyone, my name is Fatima Akila and my student number is 0601128227049. So now I'm going to explain to you about types of syntactic structures, but before I move on to that, I would like to remind you again about what is syntax. In short, syntax explains sentence structure, the way words related to each other to form a well-formed sentence. Now after you remember, let's move on to types of syntactic structures. There are 6 types of syntactic structures. 1. A sentence. 2. Constituents. 3. Subject. 4. Predicate. 5. Argument. 6. Adjuncts. That I'm going to explain it to you one by one. So first we are going to talk about subject. What is a subject actually? Subject is a thing. Subject is a noun. Subject is an idea. Subject is a place. Subject is a person that performs an action. For example, Akila is singing Arabian song. So what is the subject in the sentence? Akila, right? Because this Akila, she performs an action which is singing. Okay, next is Jamal is eating pizza, which is the subject. Jamal, right? Why it cannot be the pizza that is the subject? Because subject cannot be positioned in the last word, in the last sentence. Alright, next. Alright, second, a predicate. What is a predicate? A predicate is a part of sentence that tells us what the subject is doing or what the subject is. For example, Akila is writing a poem. What is the predicate in this sentence? It's writing, right? Because it tells us what Akila is doing, right? Which is writing. And the second, Akila is pretty or Akila is smart, let's say so. So what is the predicate in this sentence? Is, right? Because it tells us what Akila is. Akila is clever, Akila is pretty. In the sentence is Akila is smart, right? And then we are gonna move to the next one. Alright, now third, we are going to talk about a sentence. What is a sentence actually? A sentence is a string of words that consists of subject and a predicate. For example, she ate pizza. Is it the correct sentence? Yes. Is it sentence? Yes. Because there is a subject which is she, and there is also a predicate which is ate. And another example is my best friends always helpful with the problem. Is it a sentence? No, it is not a sentence because it doesn't consist of a verb or a predicate. So how you make a sentence, which is because it already has the subject, we just need a predicate here. So my best friend is always helpful with the problem, and now we got a sentence. All right. Now arguments. What arguments are? Arguments are necessary elements that we use to complete the meaning of the predicate. For example, he ate a delicious cake. He and a delicious cake are the arguments of the sentence because it completes the meaning of ate here. You cannot just say he ate what he ate, right? Or you cannot just say ate delicious cake who is eat delicious cake, right? Or you can just even say eat or delicious cakes. They're not complete. So we need arguments to complete the meaning of the predicate that we have. That's what are adjuncts. Adjuncts are optional elements of a sentence. They just add information that is not essential to the meaning of the predicate. For example, like she ate pizza in restaurant. In restaurant is an adjunct because it's not really essential to the meaning of the predicate, and it's an optional. You can add it, or it's okay if you don't add it. It still make a good sentence. Alright, last but not least is constituents. What are constituents? Constituents are units of a language that work together to build a sentence. For example, the girl with black hijab is the lecturer. So we got two constituents here. The girl with black hijab, which is as the subject, and is the lecturer is the predicate. So there are two constituents here. Alright, that's all.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, I'm Adele Agustin and my student number is 06011 70 and 46. Today, I would like to explain about types of sentences and clauses. We will explore how sentences can be classified and the different type of clauses that play a crucial role in constructing sentences. First, I will talk about sentence. A sentence is the basic unit of communication in the English language. It conveys a complete thought or idea. Within a realm of sentences, there are two primary elements to consider. The first one is sentence type based on grammatical construction, and the second one, sentence type based on meaning, purpose, or voice. Okay, next, it's about types of sentence. The first one, sentence type based on grammatical construction. These categories classifies sentences by their structural complexity. The first one, simple sentence. A simple sentence is the most basic type containing one subject and one predicate. It expresses a single idea succinctly. For example, the sun shines. This is a simple sentence because it contains one subject and one predicate. It conveys a complete and straightforward idea stating that the sun is shining. The second one, compound sentence. Compound sentence bring together two or more simple sentences. Coordinating conjunction like and or semicolons are used to connect these independent clauses. For example, the sun is shining and the birds are singing. This is a compound sentence because it combines two simple sentences using the coordinating conjunction and. It expresses two related ideas, the sun is shining and the birds are singing. These two ideas are joined by and. The third one is complex sentence. Complex sentence combine an independent clause and one or more dependent clause. The independent clause can stand alone as a sentence, while the dependent clause adds depth and context. For example, although it's raining, I will go for a walk. This is a complex sentence as it contains an independent clause, I will go for a walk, and a dependent clause, although it's raining. The independent clause can stand alone as a sentence, but the dependent clause adds context by explaining the circumstances. Last, compound complex sentence. The sentences feature two or more independent clauses and at least one dependent clause. They provide a wealth of information and are commonly used in more complex communication. For example, I wanted to go for a walk, but it started raining, so I stayed home. This is a compound complex sentence because it features two independent clauses, I wanted to go for a walk and I stayed home, and one dependent clause, but it started raining. It combines multiple related ideas and provides a detailed narrative. The second one, sentence types based on meaning, purpose, or voice. These categories focus on the intended purpose and style of sentences. First, declarative sentence. Declarative sentence makes statements conveying fact, opinion, or information. For example, the earth orbits the sun. This is a declarative sentence that makes a statement or conveys information. It states the fact that the earth orbits the sun. The second one is interrogative sentence. Interrogative sentence ask questions and are essential for seeking information. For example, is it raining outside? This is an interrogative sentence because it asks a question. It seeks information about whether it is raining outside, and it ends with a question mark. The third one is imperative sentences. Imperative sentences express commands or requests. They are crucial for giving instructions. For example, please pass the salt. This is an imperative sentence that expresses a request. It is used to ask someone to perform an action, in this case, to pass the salt. 4. Exclamatory sentences. Exclamatory sentences express strong emotion or exclamation. They add intensity to communication. For example, what a beautiful sunset. This is an exclamatory sentence that expresses strong emotion or excitement. It adds intensity to the statement, conveying the speaker's admiration for the beautiful sunset. Last, active or passive voice sentences. Active voice emphasizes the subject performing the action, while passive voice focuses on the receiver of the action. It offers different perspectives on the same action. For example, the chef prepared a delicious meal. This is an active voice in which the subject, the chef, is performing the action which is prepared a delicious meal. It emphasizes the door of the action. And for passive voice sentence, it could be a delicious meal was prepared by the chef. This is a passive voice sentence because it focuses on the receiver of the action. A delicious meal. It tells us that the meal was prepared by the chef without necessarily emphasizing the chef's action. Okay, next I will talk about clause. A clause is a group of words that contains a subject and a predicate. Clauses are essential components that make up sentences. Next, types of clauses. There are two main types of clauses. The first one is dependent clause. A dependent clause is a group of words that contains a subject and a predicate but cannot stand alone as a sentence. It relies on independent clause to form a complete thought. Dependent clauses often begin with subordinating conjunction like although, because, while, if, and many others. For example, although I was tired. This is a dependent clause because it doesn't express a complete idea by itself. It leaves the reader wondering what happened after although I was tired. Okay, the second one is independent clause. An independent clause is a standalone sentence. It contains a subject and a predicate and can convey a complete idea on its own. It doesn't rely on any other clause to make sense and can function as a sentence independently. For example, I went to the store. This is an independent clause because it expresses a complete thought. It tells us that the subject I performed the action went to the store. Okay, I think that's enough. That's all from me. Move to the next speaker. My name is Melanie Amelia and my last student number is 047. So here I would like to explain about phrases in general and noun phrases. So what is phrase actually? A phrase is any constituent of a clause. Phrases are commonly named for one of their main elements. So, we speak of noun phrases, verb phrases, adjective phrases, adverb phrases, and prepositional phrases. Phrases may be a string of words or just one word. Here an example. Jack went to the store. Jack is a phrase. Went to the store, and the store are also phrases. Notice that not only can a phrase be one word or a string of words, but that one phrase also can be embedded within another phrase. The head of a phrase is the word that determines the syntactic or phrasal category of that phrase, whether the phrase functions as a noun phrase, verb phrase, prepositional phrase, and so on. The head of a noun phrase is a noun, the head of a verb phrase is a verb, and the head of prepositional phrase is a preposition. If the phrase is made up of one word, then that word is the head of the phrase. If a phrase has two or more words in the lexical category that the phrase is named for, then the one that carries the central meaning of the phrase is the head of the phrase. In the noun phrase the boat, it's clear that boat is the head of the phrase. However, in the noun phrase the title of the new movie, there are two nouns, title and movie. Because the phrase is about the title of the movie and not about the movie itself, then the head of the phrase is title. All parts of a phrase that are not the head are called the phrases dependent. In some approaches to syntax, these dependents are further broken down into specifiers and complements. In the boat, the is the specifier. In the title of the new movie, the is the specifier and of the new movie is the complement. The specifier makes the meaning of the head more precise. Determiners are specifiers for nouns, adverbs are specifiers for verbs, and degree words such as very and more are used as specifiers of adjectives and preposition. Complements provide further information about the head. The phrase "the new movie" indicates the title is that of a movie as opposed to a book, a magazine, or a play. A noun phrase can function in a sentence as the subject, direct object, and indirect object. A noun phrase could be a single noun or pronoun or a variety of longer forms. For example, Julian mailed a letter. Julian is a noun phrase and the subject of the sentence. A letter is also a noun phrase and the direct object. Mary ate hamburger. Mary and hamburger are noun phrases. Mary is the subject of the sentence and hamburger is the object of the sentence. 3 people came late. 3 people is a noun phrase and the subject of the sentence. A noun might be preceded by an adjective or adjective phrase. The adjective phrase might include an adverb, for example, very fast horse. Very is an adverb, or a subtype of adjective called a determiner. In English, determiners fall into several categories. They are definite and indefinite articles, demonstratives, possessives, and interrogatives. Determiners function to limit what the noun is referring to, such as to specify whether the referent is a specific thing or a general thing. Articles such as a, an, and the tell whether a noun refers to a definite or specific thing, as in the art student, or something that is not specified, or general thing, as in a very beautiful painting. In the phrase the art student, the is the definite article. The art student refers to a specific student to whom we might give name. In the phrase a very beautiful painting, is an indefinite article because the phrase doesn't specify exactly what painting is being described. In English, articles are placed before the noun that they modify. They share this characteristic with demonstratives. For example, this boy, this is the demonstratives. Possessives, for example, my car, my is a possessive. And interrogatives like which house, which is the interrogatives. So, here are some possible noun phrases. The first one is Jim. Jim is a name of a person, so it's a noun that cannot be broken down further. And there is he. He is a pronoun. The dog, the is a determiner. In this case, it's an article, and dog is a noun. Then 6 dogs. 6 is a numeral, and dogs are nouns. Then the 6 dogs. The is a determiner or the article. 6 is a numeral, and dogs are nouns. Then my dog. My is a possessive determiner, and dog is a noun. What dog? What is interrogative determiner, and dog is a noun. That dog. That is a demonstrative determiner, and dog is a noun.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Silda Pinasti, and the last 3 digits of my student number is 051. I would like to continue the explanation about phrases. And there are 4 phrases that I would like to explain. Verb phrases, adjective phrases, adverb phrases, and professional phrases. A verb phrase tells something about the subject. It includes a verb and can include auxiliary verb, direct or indirect object, and modifiers. In examples, an apartment would have cost less than a hotel for 3 of us. Here, would is the modal verb, have is auxiliary verb, cost is the main verb. Another example, Tony might have been waiting outside for you. Might is the modal verb, have been is auxiliary verb, and waiting is the main verb. All English sentences contain a noun phrase and a verb phrase. A transitive verb is a verb that requires an object to receive the action. In a transitive verb phrase, the main verb is transitive and requires a direct object or noun phrase to complete the sentence. For example, Mary ate the hamburger. At the hamburger is the verb phrase, and the word the hamburger is the noun phrase. However, intransitive verbs can form a verb phrase by themselves. In an intransitive verb phrase, the main verb is intransitive and doesn't require a direct object to complete the sentence. For examples, the flowers bloom in the garden. In these examples, bloom is the intransitive verb and there is no direct object. Adjective phrases are groups of words that function as adjectives to describe a noun or pronoun in a sentence. They consist of an adjective, which is a describing word, and one or more words that modify or add detail to the adjective. The structure of an adjective phrase is usually a noun or pronoun followed by an adjective, adverb, or preposition. For example, in the sentence, the tall man ran quickly. The phrase tall man is an adjective phrase that modifies the noun man. An adverb phrase is a group of words that function as an adverb in a sentence. It provides more information about the verb, adjectives, or adverb that it modifies by answering how, where, when, why, or to what degree an action was done. Here are some examples of adverb phrases. First, she sings beautifully modifies the verb sings. He walked to the store quickly modifies the verb walk. He drove the car very carefully modifies the verb drove. Prepositional phrases are headed by a preposition and include a noun phrase. Both adjective and adverb phrases can use preposition. In the example, the farmer from Iowa is going to the store. There are 2 prepositional phrases in the sentence, from Iowa and into the store. The function of from Iowa is to modify the farmer. It tells where he is from. And then the phrase into the store is modifies the verb by telling us where the farmer went. That's all about phrases, and the next explanation will be continued by the next members.
Okay, my name is Winda Sasabila Prativi and my last student number is 048. So I want to describe part the constituent structure of sentence. Using an analogy, we can say that similar to a sentence, a car is made up of constituent or parts. The large part is the car itself and can be compared to a sentence. The smallest parts of the car are individual pieces of metal, rubber, glass, and plastic. And for the purpose of this comparison could be compared to individual words. Words of course are made of even smaller units, morphemes and phonemes. The small parts make up the whole but function differently than any of the parts alone. Between the whole and the individual parts are various assemblies or parts that go together. There's the brake assembly, which we could say is comparable to the subject noun phrase of a sentence. The front windshield assembly is comparable to the verb phrase. Steering wheel assembly is comparable to the object noun phrase. The engine assembly is comparable to a prepositional phrase, and so on. Each of these assemblies has a specific function, and the proper combination of individual parts make the function possible. Furthermore, an individual part from the brake assembly coupled with a part from the engine assembly will have no function and would not be a part constituent of the car, just as an individual part from a subject noun phrase and individual part from the prepositional phrase would have no function and would not be a constituent of the sentence. So, we can see a sentence as made of a small meaningful units words. These units combine to make large units, and then these larger units combine into even larger ones until we have the entire sentence as the largest constituent of itself. Consider the following sentence. The art student will look at a very beautiful painting. Each word has meaning and a specific function in the sentence. So do the groups art student, beautiful painting, very beautiful, and a very beautiful painting. Note that other groups do not have a coherent meaning or function relative to the entire sentence. Groups like the art, a very, we look at a very, do not function as a meaningful units for the sentence. Why is a very beautiful painting a constituent of the sentence and at a very is not? The segment a very beautiful painting makes sense on its own as well as having meaning in the sentence. We can ask the question, what did the art student look at? And we could answer, a very beautiful painting. There is no question that we can pose that will have the answer at very. This is because at a very has no meaning in itself and is not proper simply relevant to the sentence under examination. Another way of saying this is that a very beautiful painting could be given a label as to its a function in the sentence and at a very could not. The manner in which constituents of a sentence are arranged is related to the meaning of the sentence. However, constituent can be arranged ungrammatically and the sentence might still have the same meaning as it would have had if the constituent had been arranged grammatically. A native speaker of English will recognize that the following sentence is ungrammatical but might still understand what it means. We look the student at paintings very beautiful, labeling the constituent of a sentence. The words the smallest constituent of a sentence are the morphemes that make it up. Morphemes make up words. Each word can be labeled as to its part of speech or the subtype of its part of speech, lexical category. For example, examine the sentence we have been considering. The art student will look at a very beautiful painting. The determine art adjective student noun will auxiliary look verb at prepo determine very adverb beautiful adjective and painting is noun. The lexicon. A lexicon for a specific language is a list of all of the morphemes that are used in that language to form words. A dictionary often lists only the words. Each morpheme in a lexicon is accompanied by a set of specifications. The specifications include information on the meaning, pronunciation, and various other grammatical features of each morpheme. The lexicon specifies whether each morpheme in the lexicon is a prefix, suffix, or root. If it is a root, then the lexicon category is also included. Any co-con restriction are also mentioned by labeling each root as to the subtype of the category, such as whether a verb is transitive or intransitive. A co-cons restriction is a limitation on the use of a morpheme. For instance, a transitive verb is limited to sentences that have a direct object. The boy threw. This sentence is ungrammatical because threw must co-occur with an object, as in the boy threw the ball. So that's from me. Let's try to next.
My name is Deriska Vladinda and my student number is 0601128227050. And the last material is phrase labeling. In linguistics, a sentence can be broken down into smaller units called phrases. These phrases have different functions in a sentence. These are common types of phrases. The first one is noun phrase or NP. Noun phrase is a group of words centered around a noun. It can include articles the and a, adjectives, and other modifiers. For example, the big red ball is a noun phrase. The second one is verb phrase or VP. Verb phrase is a group of words centered around a verb. It may include adverbs, objects, and complements. For example, we'll sing a song is a verb phrase. The third one is adjective phrase or ADJP. Adjective phrase is a group of words centered around an adjective. For example, very beautiful. Fourth is adverb phrase or ADVP. Adverb phrase is a group of words centered around an adverb. For example, very quickly. Fifth is prepositional phrase or PP. Prepositional phrase is a group of words that begins with a preposition and includes an object of preposition. For example, in the park is a prepositional phrase. After that, we have tree diagrams. Tree diagrams are like visual maps for sentences. They show how different parts of a sentence fit together. The main part of the sentence is at the top, and the smaller specific word or pieces are at the bottom. It's a way to see the structure of a sentence in a clear and organized way. For example, in sentence, the art student will look at a very beautiful painting. S represent the entire sentence. NP represents the noun phrase, the art student. VP represent the verb phrase will look at a very beautiful painting. The auxiliary verb will is included as part of the verb phrase or VP. It serves to indicate the future tense of the verb look. That represents the determiner the. V represents the verb look. PP represents the prepositional phrase at a very beautiful painting. P represents the preposition at. That represents the determiner A. ADJP represents the adjective phrase very beautiful, and painting is the noun at the end.